Turn Min, 28. Night security guard in Bin Daejeong. I used to work the night shift at a large logistics warehouse in Bin Daejeong. My shift ran from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The warehouse was huge, dark, and dead silent at night. People think night security is an easy job, but it's not. Silence can be far more terrifying than noise. The warehouse was divided into long rows of shelves, each almost 5 meters high, forming a maze of metal. The aisles between them were always dark, even with the motion sensor lights installed. Around 2:40 a.m., I was sitting in the guard station when I heard footsteps slow, dragging footsteps, coming from inside the warehouse. The sound echoed unnaturally. I thought maybe a worker had forgotten something. I spoke into the internal radio. "Anyone inside? Identify your location?" No reply. I switched on the CCTV monitors. What I saw on camera 12 made the hair on my arms rise. A figure tall, perfectly still standing between two shelves, facing the camera directly. I could clearly see the outline of a person, but the face was completely swallowed by shadow. The terrifying part was this: the motion sensor lights in that aisle were not on, meaning whoever or whatever was there was standing in complete darkness. I wanted to believe it was camera distortion, but the figure didn't flicker. It just stood there. I grabbed my flashlight and went to check. The air inside felt icy, damp, almost like walking into a basement. I pointed my light at the exact spot the camera showed. No one, no footprints, nothing out of place. But right as I turned to leave, I heard heavy breathing coming from deeper in the aisle close. Very close. I swung the flashlight around, but the beam hit only an endless wall of darkness. Back at the guard post, I replayed the camera feed. The moment I pointed the flashlight earlier, the camera showed a long, black arm pulling back behind the shelf like something hiding from the light. At 3:02 a.m., the fire alarm suddenly went off. The system reported abnormal activity at the exact shelf where the figure had been standing, triggered only by temperature changes. And yet when the technicians arrived, they said that area was colder than the rest of the warehouse by almost 8 degrees. I quit the next morning. Months later, the new guard told me camera 12 still captures that same figure every week, at exactly 2:40 a.m. Story 2, Room 47. La Hyong, 32, night nurse at UNNG General Hospital. Hyong had worked night shifts for years at UNNG General Hospital. She was used to patients groaning, the sound of emergency trolleys, and the rushed footsteps of doctors. But one night made her refuse to ever work nights again. At around 1 a.m., she did her usual rounds. When she passed room 47, she heard someone quietly sobbing inside, a soft, shaky cry like an elderly man. She opened the door. The room was dark, empty. The beds hadn't been used. She checked the bathroom, nothing. She assumed she imagined it, but as she fixed the sheets on one of the beds, the sobbing began again. This time right behind her. She spun around. No one. Back at the nurse station, she looked at the patient log for room 47. The room had been vacant for 3 days. Ever since the last patient, a 63-year-old man, passed away at 1:05 a.m. 4 hours before he died, he begged the nurses, "Don't leave me alone at night. Please." Hyong felt a chill, but forced herself to keep working. At 2:15 a.m., while she was writing reports, the sobbing returned louder this time. She felt the breath of the crying person right behind her ear. She jumped up. No one was near her. A coworker, seeing her pale face, asked, "Did you hear it again?" That single question froze her. It meant the others had heard it too, but were too afraid to mention it. Hyong spent the rest of the night sitting rigidly at the nurse station, refusing to walk down the hallway alone. She filed for a permanent transfer to the day shift the next week.